goodness.
Oh, there we are. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So is there anything I'm missing here, right? Wholesale, you can make money really fast. Oh, thank you. Of course. That's where I wanted to go. Yeah. Lease options, ICM. I mean, we're talking fast cash on these. I mean, I would even, if I were to guess, this is probably going to be the fastest. I'm going to put this one on top because an ICM, you can close a student and you get paid about 14 days later. On a real estate deal, I mean, you're talking like 30 days, right? I mean, depending on how quickly you close that contract. And so ICM, fast cash, wholesaling, lease options. Let's see, let's go with that, right? So I'm talking about these things. Ooh, I mean, technically a rental too. The only thing with the rental is, I mean, there's a couple of things out there where they're like, hey, people might not have to pay their mortgages or pay their rental because of things that are going on. So, but yeah, ICM, wholesaling, lease options, even fast cash, things that I'm talking about. Because again, nobody's working, right? I signed up some students last week, and they're like, yeah, we just been sitting at home. We've been watching, like, we probably watched 3 of our essentials classes already. Like, they're just cranking through them, right? And so some of the things that I'm doing with people right now is when I'm showing them, I'm actually just pulling up my Helios and being like, all right, and just share a little deal story. Like, yeah, so this person just closed this deal, and I like telling other people's stories, even though I do a bunch of deals. I can't remember how many we picked up so far this year, but probably 12 to 13-ish. But still, I want to tell other people's stories, right? Because if I just put all the credibility on me, then they think that I'm like the real estate god, and they're going to call me. Like, no, there's a community here, right? There's support across the nation for real estate investors inside of Renata. So as I go through, I'm starting to ask people, like, cool, and I tell a little story. This person made $10,000 doing a little wholesale. Results are not typical, but let's say you were on the receiving end. Like, let's say you were about to make $10,000 on your end. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is my favorite question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel in knowing how you're going to structure that money, to funnel it through taxes, how you're going to funnel that through businesses? Like, are you going to use an S corporation? Are you going to use a LLC? Are you going to sole prop this thing? How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you feeling when you receive $10,000 in your bank account, right? And I'm getting stuff all across the board, and people are like, wait, what do you mean by 1 to 10? And I'm like, 1 meaning what's taxes, 10 meaning I wrote the tax code. Okay. And so I'm always getting stuff in the middle, obviously, and I do that on purpose, 10 being I wrote the tax code. Because if anybody tells me a 10, I'm gonna be like, really? You wrote the tax code? And so if they tell me a 9, an 8, a 7, then I say, cool. So in other words, you feel like you could learn some more, right? And then I start asking them, like, cool, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel in, the structuring side, like LLCs and the S Corp and the business and all that kind of stuff, right? And I already asked that question. Let's say you're going through this real estate deal, or you're doing a lease option. This one just happened to me, actually, where I was looking at a house. I think Brock's on here too right now. So Brock and I, that is not Brock. Brock and I are looking at a house down here in our neighborhood. Originally, we're like, lease option, right? We'll buy this. We'll turn around and immediately lease option it to this gal. It'll be like $9,000 out of pocket because of her option fee, $15,000 option fee. And so, I mean, we're in a good spot, and it'll be, somewhere between like the high 200s and $300 a month in cash flow. And so the ROI on that's like 33%. And so we're like, yeah, lease option, right? And then all of a sudden, meth test comes back, and they're freaking cooking it. They're not just smoking it; they're freaking manufacturing meth in this sweet old lady's house. And I mean, terrible story, right? Freaking idiots that are doing this to her. But anyway, so yeah, I asked him. So when you're looking at a deal and you have something happen, how confident do you feel like, oh, we'll switch, right? We'll switch from this to this because of the situation with that property. And so we're shifting on this real estate deal. And I mean, chances are we'll probably make more money because of this meth, right? I love meth. Never tried it before, but I love the benefits that I get out of it, at least from meth. But anyway, so just I've been telling a lot of people stories like this. And more specifically, I like telling the other people's stories. But ask them that on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong, how confident do you feel? And then if I start getting into, you know, let's say somebody does want to wholesale a deal, you know, just keeping in those things. So on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say you run into somebody and they're like, hey, I need to sell. I need to sell. I got to get rid of this house. You know, this one just happened to a student that they might even be on the line too, but the Pitchfords. And they didn't end up wholesaling it. They ended up flipping this one. But regardless, right? What are you going to do? Like, how confident do you feel when you're sitting at the tire store and you start talking real estate with the lady that's checking you out? Not like checking you out, but like checking you out, running your card to pay for your tires. And you start talking real estate investing and she's like, oh my gosh, like, I need to sell this house. I got to sell this house. And so the Pitchford couple, that happened to them recently, and they bought the house. But anyway, the lady's like, hey, I need to sell. This thing is a dump, right? This property, they're a hoarders. They've got dog feces and urine like in the house, like crazy. I mean, it's piling up. Just nasty home. And so on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident would you feel in knowing how to run the numbers? All the numbers too. Like I'm talking everything, right? And so I like to pull up and show stuff like this. Let's see if I go property report. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Property report. So here's one that we're doing. And so on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel in knowing like all the different numbers and all of what this means, and how do you find this one and not on this one, and if it goes long, you know, and how much money should we get, and how much money do we need, and how do I know how much I can sell it for, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel in knowing every last number when it comes to analyzing a real estate deal, okay? And so I've been loving, that's been working for me lately, because people are like, holy crap, I need to learn, right? That's what's coming out of asking questions like this and pulling up other people's stories, the education, stuff like that. Looks like I got a comment here. I do want to have a question for you. I'm not sure what you mean, Sherry. I do want to have a question for you. I don't know what that means. Come off the mute. Just interrupt me if we're talking, okay? Yeah, these are some of the things that I'm telling people right now, because the market,
Daine, where was that
going
chart
up and down.
Where was that chart you just showed? Was that in iOS with all those numbers?
Basically, yeah. Yep, this is basically when you punch in all the numbers in Renata's iOS, you get a report like this, right? Comes out all kinds of numbers everywhere, squigglies, and well, I put the squigglies in there, but comes out all the numbers and stuff like that. You can put the squigglies on if you want, but it's my favorite thing to do. If you guys can't tell, you know, this kind of stuff. So yeah, here's the thing, and I want to talk about this a little bit, because right now, where all the turmoil and all that kind of stuff, right? People are freaking out. Somebody is going to have a level head. Somebody. And I want you to be that person. Right, so everybody that can hear my voice right now, I want you to be that person in everybody else's life that's around you, in your network. The people who hear and see you, make sure that you keep a level head, right? Don't be posting on Facebook all kinds of doom and scary, okay? But also don't be posting on Facebook all kind of brag and you know, la-di-da, merry go round, whatever. Have a level head and stay confident, right? You know, Michael was talking earlier about, you making sure that your Facebook, like, get rid of everything else. Like on your Facebook, let's see, I'm gonna go to, how do I get to my profile here? On your Facebook, get rid of all your work history, get rid of all your school, get rid of, right? Don't even say you studied at Renatus. Like, get rid of all your school. Just say, I am a real estate investor, or the way I'm calling it is, I am a real estate entrepreneur, and I'm helping people, right? And start putting stuff in here. Here, let's see. I've got my LinkedIn a little bit better mapped out. Let's see. How do I get to my profile here? View profile, right? I am a real estate entrepreneur, right? And now when I was new, and I better go do this on my Facebooks too. But when I was new, I would just put all the classes, right? I didn't say I studied at Renatus. I went through and said, I am educated in short sales. I am educated in foreclosures. I am educated in mitigating risk, in creating, partnerships. I'm educated in all that kind of stuff. And now, yeah, I've got all the credibility and stuff like that. Okay. And so I basically just say, education is forever. And so the only things you see on here are farm boy and CEO of my real estate investing company. Okay. So put that on your Facebooks, put that on your social medias. Just say, I'm a real estate investor, because people are going to be losing their minds and they're going to need help from you, right? You keep your level head. Don't be posting crappy doomsday, all that mumbo jumbo. Confidence. And you're going to make some money, right? You will be the one who stands out, right? Classic story, Grant Cardone. He created himself through 2008 when all the turmoil was going and everybody's freaking out in 2008, losing homes, losing everything, right? People are just losing their marbles. And Grant Cardone came out as a confident authority, right? That people could get after, people could follow. You need to be that person right now. Fair enough? Are you up for the task? All right, I want some buy-in, guys.
Well,
You got it?
Question, Dane.
Go ahead.
Am I up for that task?
Go ahead.
I said, here's a question. Am I up for that task? Because that's the question that I asked myself. So right now, my mother just was diagnosed with cancer of the pancreas, right? And all this time I've been in Renatus, one of my goals has been to make enough money so my mother doesn't have to work, right? And I haven't done that. And so now, in having conversations with her, her dream is like, she just wants to live so she can see, her kids, her grandkids, and great grandkids graduate and be happy. And, and when I think about, like, I have my niece, and I know she wants to do something different in her life, sorry. And I have a nephew who's purchased the education, right? And so, but it's like, am I the one? It's like, I don't want my niece to purchase the education and then, like, not have success, right? Because that's what my mother wants. My mother wants to see her kids and grandkids happy, and I don't want to be like, because, like, it took me 2 years to get 1 star, and I don't have 2 years. I don't feel like I have 2 years, to help my niece,
There's 2 ways I can look at this. And so, Sherry, I know you're going to be okay with me going into this, but can I get buy-in from everybody else? Like, do we want to talk about this today? I got some stuff. I got some stuff that I could share with you guys. You guys okay with this? because I'm going to go there. I'm totally going to go there. All right, guys. I'm seeing a lot of yeses, a lot of yeses, a lot of yeses. All good. All right, Sherry, you ready?
Yep.
I got some stuff for you. So here's the thing. Most mentors, most people are going to take what you just said and they're going to say, oh, we'll just, work harder, work on emotions, deal with the problem, more people, all that kind of stuff. Okay. I'm going to go somewhere that most people don't really go, right? Because here's what happens. Most people, let's talk about this. Most people know about, our conscious way of thinking, right? And this is where we got all of our problems, and this is where we got all of our, our conscious thoughts and decisions and all that kind of stuff. Okay. I'm gonna pull up a couple of notes here because, let's see. Okay. So this is where thought, action, all that kind of stuff, right? This is where people, come back to here. Give me one sec. Student mentoring. Okay. All right. And then we got the subconscious. I'm going to talk about one deeper level. Okay. Now, you guys better be ready for this. Okay. Because this is not typical. This is not what a lot of people talk about. Okay. And so, sorry, let me back up a little bit. Right. We also have outside. So let me move this over. All right. This is going to be good. People need to hear this. Not just you, but I need you to be teaching other people this stuff, okay? Or acting in this way. Okay, so we got the outside. Right? Outside is where everybody's blaming. This is, it's not my problem. Outside forces are coming down on me. There's earthquakes outside. There's whatever. Okay. There's stuff outside that's causing me to not be able to be successful. Right. That is a very primitive way of thinking. Some people, when they bring it on the inside, right, if they take it into their conscious, they start taking ownership. Right. People start taking ownership and say, you know what, this is my problem. Now, here's what happens when the mindset goes to, this is my problem. You begin stripping power from outside sources, right? Just the fact that you say that you go from, this was their problem, this is not my problem, this is an act of God, this is how life is, whatever. The moment you bring that inside, you actually gain power to make a difference, right? And who cares? I mean, who cares whether it really is an outside source or not? The moment your mindset brings it inside and it steps into your conscious mind, you gain power. I want to go a step deeper though, okay? Because now we go into the subconscious, okay? The subconscious, this is where you've got all these emotions. This is where you've got, the thoughts, the memories, all the different triggers, right? Things that happen to you subconsciously where you automatically, you're conscious, right? How do I say this the best way? When things happen to you, your subconscious brings up what's been programmed in there, right? Doesn't matter. Or when things happen to you, you push things down into your subconscious, okay? So the conscious and the subconscious, it's kind of a two-way street. You put into the subconscious thoughts and emotions and stuff like that, and you bring up things from the subconscious, okay? And so, and don't worry, I'm going to get to the point. I'll get to the point. I just want to lay these grounds, okay? Subconscious, conscious, okay, two-way street. Now, here's the thing. Your conscious can only pull things out of the subconscious. Okay, here's all your emotions and thoughts thoughts and stories, all that kind of stuff. Okay. The conscious can only pull from the subconscious what was put into the subconscious. So in other words, if there's a negative thought, action, right? And stories are not negative or positive. Stories are stories. You get to decide whether the story was positive or negative, right? And there's things that we can learn from every single story. Okay, but when you start taking the battle of what's going on seemingly on the outside, when you start bringing it down, right? I'm going to go one level deeper, but in just a second. Okay, when you start taking it from the outside way deep within, right? Not just subconscious, but deep within your conscious. I mean, there is going to need to be some reprogramming, right? You mentioned that it took 2 years to become just a 1-star. The thing that is going to speed that up is not going to be more affirmations in your conscious, more like hoorahs and, looking in the mirror and reading your thing. That's good. But don't just do that, right? It's time to start looking deep inside. Start reprogramming what is on the inside of that subconscious, because all the stories, all the experiences from the time you were 0 years old to now, there are stories that make up this deepest level. I'm gonna change color for this one, okay? So here I need to separate these, okay? This is your deep programming, right? Everybody has this. Everybody goes through different experiences from the time that they were 0 years old all the way to the point where they are today, right? Everybody has those experiences, and every time every time there's here, let me write this down. Here is basically your paradigm. Here's your perspective, paradigm, something like that. Here's your paradigm. Here's your perspective. This is how you see the world. This is how you make decisions, this is how you base your decisions. Okay, decisions. Okay. Now here's the crazy thing. You were not born with this. Nobody was. Nobody is born with the deep program, the deep rooted, right? It all comes from experiences that we've had from our childhood to today, right? We are the makeup of how we view those experiences. And so I'm going to tell you right now, right? Again, not many people talk about this kind of thing. Most people will stay up here. Some people will get into the subconscious, but most people will stay up here, like solve the problem, and get your affirmations, right? Put it on the mirror, put a sticky note, read it every day. Tell yourself, right? But we gotta take it deeper. Okay. So here's the fastest way. If you say it took you 2 years to get 1 star, here's going to be the fastest way to reprogram so that things begin happening for you. Okay. Mark my words. Listen closely. When you take the battle within, you got to go search, right? When you take that battle within, essentially, we've all heard the meditation, we've heard of journaling, things like that. Here's what I want you to do, because, I heard things in your voice. I heard things in the way that you worded, the story. That if you, and this applies to everybody, if you were to look back and ask yourself the question, where did I begin thinking this way? Where did I begin thinking that it's hard to have money flooding my way? Where did I begin thinking this way. Okay, so here's what I want you to do, right? I'm not a doctor, but are you okay if I prescribe something to everybody on this call? Because everybody's going to need this. Everybody needs this. Okay, I want every single person on this call to block off some time, turn off your phone. In fact, don't even have your phone in the room, right? No technology, piece of paper and a pen. I want you to sit down and look inside, right? Here's how you're going to do that, right? So you start a journal. You basically just start writing, I don't care, it can be a piece of paper, it can be an actual journal, doesn't matter, pen and a paper, right? And if you already know, right, here's option one. If you already know that if your brain has already brought out the story, already brought out a moment that you're like, holy crap, I got to take care of that. Like that instance, that story has shifted my paradigm into the way that I think, okay? So if you already have a specific story that has come to your mind that you're like, oh my gosh, I got to take care of this, okay? So really quick, people tell me, do you already have just while I've been talking, have you already thought of something that you're like, holy crap, I got to take care of that, right? I want a check here, right? I'm not sure how many people. Okay, Tracy, yeah. We got people chiming in. Yes. Some people texting me privately. That's okay. No worries. Okay. So if you've already got the thing, right, your brain does this naturally, right? When people are talking, myself, when I'm talking about this, your brain is thinking, right? Things are coming up. Things are, there's a movie screen. Things are coming up. You're gonna pick that thing, okay? If there's a story in your past that caused you to think as to why you can't have success, as to why you can't have nice things, as to why you can't have money flooding into your bank account, there's a story. Something happened, right? Success is no respecter of persons. I'll tell you that right now. No respecter of persons. Success is a respecter of principle. Okay, so if you got the specific story, then this one's for you guys, right? You go and you sit down and journal. If you don't have the specific story, your journal will start like this. I feel, and you're going to use an emotion, right? There could be a list of emotions. Let's do frustration, anger.
You guys planning on staying open for now?
Let's see, depression, embarrassment maybe. This is a big one, okay. Embarrassment. This one causes paradigm shifts in people, and sadness. Okay, so if you have the story, you're going to use that story. If you don't have the story, this is how you're going to go find it. You're going to say, I feel frustrated because. I feel anger because. I feel, right? And try to go back to not just the most recent, right? So skip the most recent one. Okay.
Hey, James,
anger will happen this, anger will happen that, right? All that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure who. I'm not sure who needs to go off on mute here. How do I mute people? Mute participants. Oh, looks like Daniel. Can you mute? Just kidding. It's Vanessa Cole. Vanessa Cole, can you put yourself on mute, please? Okay. All right. So I feel frustration because, and you're going to start searching, right? You're going to start searching for stories in your past, things that have come up, right? Things that caused you. Okay. Now, like I said, skip the most recent one. Look for either the first story that you ever had that was just like the most frustrating thing that ever happened to you, right? Or sorry, the first or the worst, right? Now pay attention because this is going to get real here in just a sec. Okay, so you're going to go search for a story that programmed in your deep programming, right? And here's how it worked. Here's how that happened in that moment. Okay. When you go find that story, I want you to start writing, okay? Because there's a scientific whatever that goes through as it goes out of your inside through the subconscious to the conscious, pulling it out, and then out through your pen, out through your fingers, your hand. Just trust me on this one, okay? So you're going to start writing. You start writing the story. You start writing. Okay. If you're looking for the story, you say, I feel frustration because, and you start looking for it. Or anger, depression, embarrassment, sadness, whatever. Okay. Now, in the story, right? Just like any good story, right? All stories are good stories. Just like any story, you're going to go find the defining moment. Okay. As to when you made a decision because of what happened, that this is reality, right? This is my reality. In people's mind, it's not my reality. In people's mind, they say this is reality, right? That deep programming essentially begins to tell them what the outside world is like. This is scary. Because a lot of us, we're 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 years old. And things happen to us that caused us to think, oh, this is just how the world is, right? This is just how things work. Even in our young adulthood, early 20s, late 20s, I don't care. Maybe even into the 30s. Where things happen to us that cause us to think that the outside world, that's just how it is, right? This is just how much success I can have, okay? Now, what you're going to do is you go find the defining moment, okay? You're writing your story out, from a moment that caused you frustration, anger, depression, sadness, right? About money or about whatever, doesn't matter. When you find that defining moment, I literally just want you to sit there and look at yourself from almost like third person, as you're going through the story. Because when you remove yourself like that, look at it through your eyes, sure, because you'll remember it that way. But look at yourself from third person. And as you're looking down at yourself in that defining moment where some deep programming took place, rewrite it. Sit there and feel for just a second. Yeah. Okay. So feel it and rewrite it. Because now you're more experienced, you got more, you're older, you're more mature, all that kind of stuff. If you look back at that moment in time and you say to yourself, like, holy cow, like that was it. That was the defining moment. That's when I decided that I can't have nice things. Or that's when I decided that, I'll probably never be rich. Or that's when I decided, whatever it is, feel it, remove yourself, third person, and rewrite it and say, you know what? That's hogwash. That's hogwash. Just because this happened to me one time in years previous, that doesn't mean it's reality. Everybody has stop and go and touch and go moments and ups and downs and all that kind of stuff, okay? So rewrite your paradigm. Rewrite your perspective, okay? Now, when you do that, Literally, I want it in writing. Write it down. I am. Or write down what you learned, right? This is what I learned from that story and that defining moment. Okay. Now, going all the way back, right? Because let's go all the way back to what we were talking about, you know, family and you know, I had this vision of mom and not allowing her to work. Yes, your Renatus education is going to be important. So watch your dang classes, right? Everybody good with that? Watch your freaking classes. But start doing this. This will create success faster than anything else I've seen. When you do this above and beyond, you know, still put the stuff on the mirror in your bathroom, still get your vision board, still, you know, you got to still work on the conscious and the subconscious stuff, okay? But when you get into the deep programming roots of who you are, right? In my opinion, personality tests are garbage. Complete garbage. Personality tests only test this. They only test that conscious. But it really came from deep programming, right? I am not the same person today. If I took a personality test before Renatus and I took a personality test today, different person. Personality tests are garbage. Personality tests just tell you where you're at today. Okay? That's not who you are. You decide your deep programming. Because you did decide up until this point, and you will decide from here on out. And now that you know this, I mean, you got a different, you got a whole new level of accountability just because I shared this with everybody on this call.
Hey, Daine.
It's crazy. We're at 8:55 and we still got everybody on the call. Nobody's leaving.
Hey, Daine.
Yeah?
This is James.
Yeah.
Go expand on the word knowing, because in real estate and knowing and being confident, expand on that, because I think this gives everybody the power. And you help me explain that from a situation. But I want you to explain that to everybody else with the word knowing.
Mm-hmm. I think I know what you're talking about.
When you
So
know,
you're saying basically getting.
you don't have to believe. You switch from
yeah, exactly.
When you switch from the belief to the know, you give yourself the confidence that you absolutely 100% know that your future is in your hands.
Oh, yes. Yeah. In fact, here, I wish we had more time, but let's talk about this, okay? So as you're programming down, here's what happens. I'm sorry, I got kids in the back if you guys can hear that. But so knowing starts, right? Or I should say this, like creating success starts from the head down, okay? Achieving your goals starts from the head down. So knowing it is just that first part, and to really to really get this into your deep programming, you've got to know it, you've got to see it. In other words, you've got to have the movie screen in your mind. Like you have to see yourself doing the things. You got to see yourself providing for your mom. You got to see yourself, like, you know, what does your bank account look like that allows you? How did the money get in there? Who did you talk to? What conversations did you have in order to have that money in your bank account so that when your mom needs money, that you're able, and I hope you're okay, I'm just using this as an example, but you go swipe a debit card because money's there. Right? So you see it go all the way from point A to point B. Okay. Third is you got to know how to say it. Because, and this is where the money is made. If you know it and you can see it, then you'll know what to say. Most people will not make money because they don't know what to say. And if all wealth is created through conversation, then how in the world do you expect to make money if you cannot open your mouth? If your mouth is tied up and you don't know what to say or how to say, then there's a struggle. Like James said, there's a struggle in knowing it or seeing it, one of the two. Okay, so know it, see it, say it. I also add in hear it in this one, because you listen differently when you really know it. You listen very, very differently when you really know it and you know how to say it with people. Okay, so know it, see it, say it, feel it, and act it. So as you work from the head down, right? You watch your classes and you get no, right? You get in the no. You know, jump on these calls and you get into the no, all that kind of stuff. Okay. But as you work your way down, and this is where you're going to do some of that reprogramming stuff, because you're seeing it, you're reprogramming, you go back to that defining moment and you reprogram, you see yourself in a different light, you see yourself with a new, fresh perspective. Like, holy crap, this is liberating to know this. And then when you begin to say it, and you just say it to everybody, right? You just start talking about your goals, about what you're learning, about who you're meeting, it'll change your life. It'll absolutely change your life. And that's where the money is made, right? Again, I say, if your voice box, if your tongue is tied in knowing what to say, then start working on the knowing, the seeing, and being able to hear.
Hi, Daine.
Because believe me, it will be given you. I'll be right with you. It will be given you what to say. If you know it and you see it, it will be given you what to say, right? Your subconscious will bring it back, will bring it to your conscious. You will know what to say in the very moment that you need to say it. Guaranteed. Okay. All right. I got a question. Who's off the mute?
Oh, yeah. This is Gilda, Daine. And I was just gonna, mention that you have a whole training on this about the goal setting. You went through all this, thing. And I think it was, January 1st, I believe it was, that you did this. But I know it was
Probably.
only January. So, yeah, there's a whole recording with this if anybody wants to, wants to see it or wants to listen to it. So, but because
Yeah, go back on.
it is really
It's going to be
powerful.
on the Elevate Renatus. It'd be on the Elevate Renatus YouTube page. Where we, I talked about more about this,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
about
So
the
your
effective
homework is
goal
this.
setting.
Yep, your homework is this, because even that training, right? That was up here, because when you start talking about deep stuff like this, like a lot of people check out. A lot of people are not ready for that, right? People don't want to hear that. Okay, and I'm surprised that we have this many people still on the call, because most people will check out when you start talking about this type of stuff. But I think the reason this came up to my subconscious, or my conscious to me, is because people need it right now, right? People need this right now. Okay, so all of us just became programmers, right? We are reprogramming our paradigms, because it's crazy times right now, and people need our help. We will be the level-headed people that can help, and there's going to be a lot of problems going on. Okay, got one more person off the mute.
Hi, Daine. This is Patricia from California. How are you?
How's it going? Doing wonderful.
Good. I want to thank you for this call, because it's going to help a lot of people refocus themselves. And I was in the same place where Sherry is right now, and listening to all the impact calls helped motivate me, helped me to get the right direction on what I needed to read, what I needed to focus on, and how to improve myself. Like you said, I know exactly what you're talking about. I had to start focusing on what I needed to change about myself to help my energy change outside of me. And that helped me improve a lot of who I am right now. So it's changed me quite a bit, and so I'm very appreciative to your impact calls every Thursday, Wednesday. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. All right, guys. It's Wealth Wednesday. Go out and have some conversations. Get rid of, I'm getting a lot of really good comments here. Great job, guys. Let's do this, right? I wish we could talk sooner than a week. I'll be on the Facebooks, right? Comment, all that kind of stuff. Okay. All right, guys. Stay safe. Stay healthy. We're all safe and healthy here. Okay. And let's do this.